Oh, hello and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And today you join me between two of the Orkney Islands, and we're using the drone camera, so this might not work out too well. So, looking ahead here, we've got to the west of us, we've got the island of Westray, and if we swing round, we have Papa Westray. And it's kind of said that it's the shortest commercial flight in the world that goes between the two islands. It's part of a Loganair scheduled flight from Kirkwall that I think stops off at both of them. And if you look at the videos in YouTube, I think it's like, not much more than 2 minutes, including taxiing. So it kind of struck me that you could speed things up by avoiding the taxi. Like, if you go to fly, sometimes you think, oh, I've got to get to the airport 2 hours before we leave, and then you've got security and all that kind of stuff. Like, you could, train or car would be 2 hours nearer the destination by that time. Anyway, let me see if I can remember how to use the drone camera, because we're going to start from Papa Westray. And this aircraft is pretty new to me, but it's quite special. Sorry, apologies for the use of the drone camera. I'm trying to do it with the keyboard. I'm not very good at it. So, parked near the kind of, I think it's more of a terminal hut thing, but it's a bit of a edifice in Flight Sim 2020. I do hope that when the UK update comes out this month that they kind of improve some of the buildings and tree cover and stuff on Orkney. But anyway, that's kind of. There we go. I'm not sure I'm going to get it much closer than this. There we go. So this is the Savage Carbon. I've started recently trying to fly tailwheel aircraft. I did have a go on a Tiger Moth in X-Plane. That kind of got me interested. But the whole Carbon series, like the Carbon, this Savage Carbon mod in Microsoft Flight Simulator is really good. The Savage Carbon mod is a free mod. I'm going to leave links to it in below. That you can I'll link to the Flight Sim forum page for it and the flightsim.to page where you can download it. But a lot of the chap who's produced it, there's a team, I think a small team behind it, and including testers, and they've done a really good job. And it's high performance. It's got a high performance engine. It's very light, so it's got very good power to weight. Big wheel suspensions. It's great for bush flying. This is absolutely terrible use of the camera. I'm sorry. Bush flying, etc. I'm not going to say too much about it because you can go and read about it. But it's brilliant. It's the thing I like is it's had a lot of attention put into the dynamics, the weight and balance, the flight modeling, and it flies really, really nicely. And don't be put off by thinking it's high performance. It is, and it will climb like anything. And I did not mean to do that. But also. It's very maneuverable, very easy to fly. You can see the huge wings it's got, all what the Cubs have, so the kind of lift to weight ratio is pretty good. But I'm not going to say much more about that other than it's great. I highly recommend. I can't recommend it too much. Let's see if I can remember how to get back into the cockpit. Great. So I'm going to get it started up so it can be warming up. And it's nice and simple to operate. We've got the parking brake on. I don't know if it's a parking brake lever or switch, but if you use whatever key you've got assigned to parking brake, then that works. So let's get some power turned on. We'll turn off the avionics for start. There's no beacon light, so we won't worry about that. We'll just make sure everything's clear. So I just want to get it started up so it can be warming up, and then I'll just briefly explain some of the other things. So let's turn the ignition switches on and let's get it started. And I'm going to let it idle about in the green about 2k. We're watching for the oil temperature here to come up into the green. And I didn't use the choke there. If it's really cold, you may need to use the choke to start, but I had been running it before, so maybe it was still slightly warm. I'm going to put some cabin heat on though, because this is all me in January and it's not warm. When we go to move, I'll turn on the landing lights and the strobes. So reset the barometer. I turned on the avionics, but we won't use them today. So you've got a basic radio here, and you have transponder, which currently is ready on alt. And that's about it. You have, as in terms of controls, you have rudder pedals, toe brakes, just put the handbrake, parking brake back on. You have the stick, and whoops, moving forwards, which I did not want to do because I don't want to use up any more of our precious runway, as you shall see. In terms of flaps, let's have a look at flaps. So we have 3 stages, first stage, second stage, and then never use, except for extreme, I don't even know, some kind of bush mental landing stage. So for this one I'm just going to use first stage. Fuel gauges are up here. You can see there's, I think, 60 litres per, so we're half full at the moment. There's 60 litres per wing. That's extended over the normal Cub. I think you can do 600-mile range in this thing. You can fly at 110 knots cruise, and yet you can stall, you know, below 30. So it's a fantastically capable machine. Highly recommended, like I say. Some sort of speeds here, power ratings. Yeah, you see stall speed there, 28 knots. Okay. We're nearly in the green. I'll tell you what we'll do while we're getting that final bit of warmth. We'll just do an ignition check. I'm not sure if it's magnetos or some other kind of ignition, but we'll do the RPM drop check. So let's go to about 3,000. Let's turn off the left, get a slight drop, turn off the right, and again get a slight drop. And let's get our strobe and landing light turned on. Right, we've got, the trim wheel is down here. I think with that sort of cutout hole at the bottom, that's fairly neutral trim, so we'll leave it at that for takeoff. So takeoff is basically going to be straight ahead. You're going to hold the stick back. I'm going to push the full power, and then count to 2 seconds, push the stick forward, let the tail come up, wait until we've got just enough speed, and then rotate. That is the plan. So tail back, brakes off, parking brake off, powerful forward, stick forward, watch that rudder, and rotate. Go, and we don't want super high or fast here, so I'm just gonna bring the power back, fixed gear, so we'll have got positive rate. We don't use anything with gear. Okay, let's get that power back to about 4,000 RPM. In fact, I'm going to take it back now to 3,000. See, we're already up at 600 feet, and that was without really trying. Flaps up. So actually, I'm going to put in 1 notch of flaps back in now. So I'm going to target landing about halfway along the runway because we need to sort of stop near the terminal. I'm just going to go, I'm going to go full flaps now. Looking for about 50 on the approach here. Just use now engine power just to keep that. Sorry, just getting the head tracking thing sorted out. I'm going to do a 3-point landing here because we've got a nice smooth runway. We don't need to worry about avoiding obstacles or anything like that. We don't really need full visibility. So 3-point landing is you come in and you level off, and then you pitch up to get the same attitude as you're normally sat on the runway with the nose up when you land on all 3 wheels at the same time. Let's say we're going to land part way down the runway here, so we can take our time, there's no rush. We're going to start to bring the power back now. That wasn't particularly brilliant. Yes, that wasn't very good. Okay, so I am still learning on these. I'm just going to taxi, just to show how easy it is to taxi, so I'm just using the rudder pedals. I'm just going to pull into this little turning area on the right. I won't bother going all the way up to the building. And let's turn around here on the left. One neat thing you can do with this is to get more airflow over the tail. You can give it a burst of power as you're turning, which will kind of handbrake turn you around. If you've ever done that in a car. just stop here for a second, and there's some good brakes on this as well. We only have, I don't think we have anyone in the back, so we don't really need to wait very long. Let's get going again. Let's get our flaps back up. So we go to the other end of the runway and we'll do a nice leisurely takeoff here for the return. But we are going to attempt to land on that same taxiway that we took off on. So we just zigzag along here so we can see. There's a turning area at the end here, so I'm going to just go around in there. See if we can do a better landing this time. I mean, as I say, because of the huge wheels and tyres and the shock absorbers and springs, then it doesn't really matter if you land slightly rough, but obviously try not to do that. Right. So flaps are up and trim is neutral. So this time I'm not going to use, I'm going to go about 4,000 RPM because you don't need full power. And I'm going to, so nose back, 4,000 RPM, count to about 2, bring the stick forward, wait till we get enough speed. We haven't got any flaps, so let's go now. And off we go. It's very easy to take off. Keep it at 4,000 for now. Positive rate, gear up, fixed gear. Now we're aiming for that sort of little taxiway about halfway down the runway. Let's just bring the power back now. And I'm going to bring the power back and just hold the nose up to drop the speed, and then I'm going to go one notch of flaps. Some power in. About 3,000 RPM is quite a good approach power, I find. Very well lined up yet. Let's turn in now, and I'm going to go final flaps. And it's all down to power speed control now. We want to be just stalling in over the threshold, so to speak. So we're going to keep it around about 50 and then begin to reduce. I'm sure it's absolutely fine that there's a fuel filling tank just ahead of us. Power back now, and a bit more, keep that nose up, we'll be stalling, just a bit more power in, and down, and then we'll just brake, keep the tail back, whoops, slightly, yeah, improvement needed, but you get the idea, a little bit rough, but yeah, so there you go. Westray to Papa Westray without worrying about taxiing. And I say I highly recommend this plane. I'll leave links to it below. Definitely give it a go. Try. It's great fun, and it's definitely possible to do much smoother landings than I've just done there. And hopefully I'm going to do some more flights with it soon. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now.